all playing Helldivers 2, or at least we've seen the massive amounts of TikToks, tweets, and reels all about Super Earth's conquest for democracy. Whether you're fighting the Terminids on the front lines of Turing, or you are one of those fateful souls who lost their lives in the Battle of Melanin Creek. Melanin Creek? Basically, it's a done deal that everyone who's anyone has heard about this game and is watching the success that it's having and rapidly trying to figure out how they can capitalize on Arrowhead's success themselves. So while I am against capitalism and monopolies, there are definitely some big brands that would be phenomenal in this format. My name is Asa, and this is Make It or Break It. If you don't know how this works and you haven't seen the segment in Game Chat, the video game variety show brought to you by Borderline Entertainment, hosted by me, I take different ideas, usually by the way of community suggestion, and I make a game. But to do that though, we need 5 things. We need the title, we need who's making it, we need who's publishing it, we need how it's played, and we need the artwork. Now basically how this is going to work is I'm going to come up with 4 out of the 5. And by the end of all this, hopefully, someone out there is going to come out with some sick concept art for this game. Now obviously the way that it's going to be played is like Helldivers 2 because that's what this is about, so that's out of the way. Now there are definitely some IPs that would fit perfectly. Halo, Star Wars, and Marvel. It is like a palette swap. ODSTs, Stormtroopers, SHIELD. It basically, no matter how you look at it, it's just a palette swap thrust into those different worlds. So I feel like those are obvious. And now that they're out of the way, let's dive into 3 IPs that are just simply too good. The title for all of these is something that easily could just be tossed around, and this is a great opportunity for you to put that stuff in the comments down below, so I'm not going to spend too much time ruminating on what the title should be. We're going to kick things off with The Legend of Zelda. But more specifically, the world of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. What's really important is how this is going to be played. Because we know that Nintendo's going to make it, we know that Nintendo's going to publish it, and yes, we know that it's going to play like Helldivers 2, but let's try to concept some of this. Obviously, we're not necessarily dropping in from these giant starships, right? We're not dropping in from the Titan of Serenity. We can look at Purah's network. Like, we can look at all of these towers that we had sprouting up in the 2 games, right? The way that we just blast off and shoot up into the air. So use that as, all right, you're looking into your pad, that's going to be your interface. You get into those towers and you just rocket up, landing down, pulling out your glider. You've got a different way of how you're looking. But I mean, just think about it. The world is in turmoil. Ganon's forces are hard at work at trying to take over Hyrule. So this easily, if we're looking at timeline-wise, like this could just be happening in between possibly Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. Because if you remember, we're helping the ragtag bunch of soldiers, fighting all the bokoblins and moblins. So there clearly are the remnants of battle. Like, we've seen these garrisons that we've helped try to take back. And so all of that stuff, the world building is there, and that's the world that we're in right now. We just got mechs in Helldivers 2, so, what if we're getting in, instead of mechs, what if we're getting in Guardians? What if we're getting in the Divine Beasts? Or what if instead of, your stems, those could really just be pulling up the pad instead of pulling up your arm. You can still directional pad if you want to, but maybe you're getting the powers of the champions. Like, maybe you're dropping in some reinforcements. And if you're looking at weapons, oh my gosh, like what if you're getting the Master Sword? What if you're getting the Master Shield? What if you're getting Sidon's Triton? Like, you're getting all of these different iconic weapons from the Legend of Zelda universe, but you're getting them dropped in. Impa's in her little balloon cart dropping stuff down to you. You know what I'm saying? They're falling down like the star shards do. Or if you think about something huge, if we're looking at further on down the line, what if we're calling in some of these dragons? You know what I'm saying? Like, what if we're pulling in some big bosses? Like, what if we're dropping in that King Ghidorah looking freak?
Well,
you know what I mean? Like, what if we're dropping in that bubble sludge monster? Needless to say, if we're looking at did we make it or break it, I think we made it. On to the second IP that I think would be perfect in the Helldivers 2 format, Star Trek. I know, I get it. Star Wars versus Star Trek. What's gonna be perfect? Blah, 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 blah. Listen, if you're not watching Star Trek, I get it. You just don't understand. You're not cultured. That's okay. It's okay to not understand the high-level thinking that Star Trek brings to the world. But if you're looking at this from the perspective of a Star Trek fan, I need you to tune in and track with me right now. Okay? Because we are in space. Right? Like, we are dropping down. And we don't need the primitive pods. You know what I mean? Like, we're not just dropping down like that. If you want to take a shuttle, you can. But when you're picking your coordinates, what are you doing? Energize. Transport me down there. And what are the factions? We're not fighting Terminids. You know, we're not fighting the automatons. We're fighting the Borg. We're fighting the Klingons. We're fighting the Romulan Empire, the Dominion. Are you kidding me right now?
Throw everything you've got.
Now, as far as who's making the game and who's publishing the game, right? Like, when it comes to Star Trek games, I feel, and me personally, as a Star Trek fan and a video game fan, that Star Trek has really kind of been in between when it comes to quality. You know, Legends is really good. Star Trek Online is fantastic. But when it comes to really just grabbing gamers, I feel like the Star Trek video games that are out are really for the Star Trek fans and not necessarily for the video game fans. And I don't mean selling out. Like, I'm not talking about the Chris Pine Star Trek Gears of War clone game that came out. No, we need somebody to take this on. And if I'm being honest, if we're not going to get Arrowhead, the people who made Helldivers 2, maybe we can get somebody who has just done right by new IP and making them hot. So you let me know who you think in the comments down below. But me personally, you may think I'm taking the easy way out, but I think Arrowhead, if you made a sick Star Trek game in the way of Helldivers 2, we've got all the weapons. We've got the scene set. We've got the planets done. We're dropping down onto Vulcan. We're dropping onto Romulus. What if we're dropping onto Deep Space Nine itself? We're dropping onto Earth. You know what I mean? It's not necessarily for democracy. You know, this is for the Federation.
I had no idea.
And there is another element. You know, what if we try and pull in from the For Honor people? You pick at the beginning. Do you want to be in the Federation? Do you want to be in the Dominion? Do you want to be in the Klingon Empire? So not everybody is in the same faction, but we're all fighting for control of space. We're all fighting over the control of the Gamma Quadrant. You see the wheels turning? We've got good things cooking. So you know what? Make it or break it. I think we made it.
Your only concern is with how you obey my orders.
And last but not least, and this one really stick with me. I know I said that with the last one, but really stick with me because this one's going to be a little bit different. But we're looking at The Matrix. Now you're probably thinking, Asa, basically you're just picking all of your favorite IPs and you're shoving them on the game that's hot right now. You're right. You're right, I am. I want a really good Star Trek game that I just see all of my friends in the gaming sphere, they're all playing it, they're all loving it. Everybody is loving The Matrix. You know, I'm not just going back and replaying Path of Neo or Enter the Matrix. I'm not dying for The Matrix Online to come back. I want a good, solid Matrix game. So how's this one going to play out? All right, here we go. So similar to Star Trek, right? We're not dropping in, right? We're not necessarily transporting in. We're looking at the map. You're sitting at the desk, right? And we're looking out throughout the Matrix where we're going to go. And you're going to get jacked in. But what's that? We don't necessarily just have an entire galaxy. You know, obviously we have the Matrix. We can jack in and go anywhere. But we also have the real world. So wherever we pick, obviously, you know, we're not dropping in with pods. We're not jacking in, we're not transporting. You know, it could just be one of those fast travel scenarios where now we're picking some place in the real world and we're going there because they've got all the squid robots whose name I can't remember at the moment, but those are everywhere. And there you have those EMP grenades. There you have mechs. There you have those like Tesla cannon guns. You have a big threat that you have to face. You have to face the real life threat of the AI and the robots, or if you're in the Matrix, you have to fight the agents. Like you have to fight all the viruses that are happening within the Matrix. Either way, you've got a lot of customization options. You're gonna look super cool, and we're gonna get a baller Matrix game. But that's enough about me and what I think. Please let me know. What do you think? Could any of these work? If so, Are you one of those people that can make some really sick concept art so then you can tag me and then we together can tag these publishers and developers and get these games made, right? I really do think that this is going to be the next big hot trend. Just like PUBG did, bringing in the Battle Royales, because then we got Fortnite, Apex, and Warzone. We're going to be getting so many more within this format. But who's going to be the first to do it and who's going to be the best to do it? And if you don't like any of my suggestions, what do you got? What are your suggestions? Put them in the comments down below. Let me know. And thank you again for watching. I appreciate you so much. If you can, take the time, subscribe to the channel. More videos are going to be coming. I'm going to be coming to PAX C, so if you're going to be there, make sure that you say hi. And until next time, be well, Borderline family.